So you want to know how to handstand? Well, today we are going to bridge the gap between what we've been talking about the last couple of shows, which is the warm-up and the positioning drills, the core conditioning. Now we're going to bridge the gap to going inverted for the very first time. Now, initially, when we handstand, falling is inevitable. In today's video, we are going to show you how to fall safely. All that and more coming up right after this. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise, because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image. Hey, in case we haven't met, my name is Yanni Burmeister, the co-founder of the Foundation Movement System Online and Unity Gym, here where we teach people how to move and nourish instead of diet and exercise. I almost mucked that up. To my right here is my lovely partner in crime and fiance, Kalisha, and she is helping us while Rad is on his honeymoon. He got married on the weekend, which we all attended. How you feeling today, Cal?
Feeling good, thank you. Still
awesome.
Sore AF, but we'll get there.
Awesome.
Cartwheels might be a bit sketchy today.
So yes, today we are learning how to cartwheel, and we're going to show you 3 progressions to the cartwheel that we teach our tribe in the handstand masterclass. We're going to be doing this with our 1.5-year-old on set, so bear with us, working mums, working parents, and we just get it done however we can. The reason why we teach the cartwheel, guys, is very, very important. Often I see people throwing themselves against the wall, and no matter how hard they try, once they transition from the core conditioning, the wrist conditioning, and the shoulder conditioning and flexibility, they cannot get to the wall or inverted safely. And either one of 2 things happens. They either really struggle to get upside down, or they start to use a wall and throw themselves against the wall with so much gusto that there is absolutely no way that they would ever actually be able to hold a freestanding handstand, because they just topple over. And it becomes quite unsafe, because you must be able to stack the shoulders in a nice, graceful manner that doesn't involve a lot of velocity. Because when you kick up really hard, they call it a kick to handstand or a jump to handstand. If you've got too much momentum, there's no way that no amount of finger strength, which is what we teach in the handstand masterclass, all of the strengthening movements to control the body once you're inverted, no amount of finger strength or wrist strength can hold or stop that amount of momentum kicking up. And that's really one of the most common issues that I see. The other issue that I see that's really common when someone hasn't mastered the cartwheel is that they're afraid to invert fully, and they create a ridiculous banana back, which helps to offset the body, because your upper body, your upper torso is afraid to stack vertically above the shoulders, so you keep it on an angle. And the only way that you can hold yourself upside down, or it's sort of like a cheating upside down when you're on an angle, is to bend the back really heavily so that your legs hang over the back. We call that a banana back handstand. It's not a handstand, it's just someone dicking around. And so in today's show, we're just about to jump out on the gym floor. This is very, very important what you're learning here, and I really must stress, in our program, it's a go, no-go progression. If you can't cartwheel, you've got no business being upside down. So, you know, and you might think, oh, well, you can just transition to a wall. Yeah, you can do that. You'll be doing it for a year, and you still won't be able to do a freestanding handstand. So what's the point, really? So let's go out on the gym floor, let's have a look, and we'll battle on with little Elijah here, who's a complete mummy's boy, and can't handle not being connected to mum for about 2 seconds. He's only 1.5, I'm quite critical. Okay. So I'm going to try and get Kalisha to demonstrate the 3 progressions of a handstand, because she's not as experienced at doing it as me, and it might give us a little bit of an insight into what it looks like for a beginner trying this out. Kalisha's fairly new to handstanding. So the first progression of a cartwheel, we like to stay really close to the ground. Now I do apologise, I'm wearing a lapel mic, and if I demonstrate something here and it brushes against, my clothing brushes against the mic, you're going to hear it we'll do our best. So the first thing we do once we're down in this practice, the first progression to a cartwheel, is all we want to do is practice getting ourselves weightless and all of the weight transitioning onto the hands momentarily. And the way we do that is we keep the legs nice and low and we just skip to one side using the hands. We want to try and stay on a nice straight line. So Kalisha and I will use the AstroTurf as a guide. And it's also important that we practice doing this in both directions. So Kalisha, if you want to repeat what I'm doing here, we're going to put your hand on the floor. We're going to jump over and try to land in a straight line. The only person that did it correctly is me. Okay, let's go back the other way. So we're going to try without taking out our sun. We're going to place the hands on the floor. We're going to go for that moment of weightlessness and just skip over to the other side. That was a slightly better attempt from me. I stayed on my line. And the line is important. It comes more important when we actually start to invert in a proper cartwheel. Good. So just go back and forth a couple of times. This is the first progression of a cartwheel, guys, and it's very, very easy. Anybody can do this one, okay? And really all you're trying to do is coordinate. Remember, there are 6 different things occurring in the body right now for Kalisha that she's developing. The most obvious is just the strength in the wrists, hands and shoulders to be able to hold herself up when she skips over like that. But then on a neurological level, there's all these intramuscular and intermuscular coordination systems occurring to synchronize the right muscle contractions at the right time, to switch off the antagonist muscles so that the muscle that's active can do its job freely without resistance. There are so many different things happening when we're coordinating, learning a new skill, and you need to give it a little bit of time. So start with something that's nice and digestible for your central nervous system so that you're not too freaked out. Now, the second progression from here is where we start to learn to go upside down a little bit. But the only difference between this progression and the actual cartwheel is that we keep the knees bent. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a cartwheel. So the hand goes on the ground, we invert, we have that moment of weightlessness, but the knees stay bent. Now, Elijah, if you let me come back, I'll demonstrate it on the way back. So I'm now locking my arms, I'm inverting, but keeping my knees bent. Okay, do you want to have a practice of that one? This is one of those moments in life where you have to practice the Japanese saying of Shoshin, the beginner mind. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. She actually probably did it more gracefully than I did. So now she's actually aiming to stack the shoulders. Here's one thing that everybody is going to find, a truth to the cartwheel. You'll have one good side and one bad side. It's very important to practice the bad side too, because the reality is when you go into a handstand and you fall, it's not a controlled environment. And you don't really know, you can't be selective of what direction you're going to fall in all the time. Sometimes you can, but many times you can't. And if you've only practiced cartwheeling one way and you fall the other way, it's going to be like you've never done this exercise. So make sure you do practice both directions. So we're stacking the shoulders, we're going for that moment of weightlessness, and then we cartwheel over. We'll watch my son, moment of weightlessness, cartwheel over, and that's what it should look like. The final progression is the full cartwheel. And the full cartwheel, we want to start facing the direction and finish facing in the opposite direction. The big difference here is that we're now going from the feet and we're going to try to keep our feet extended at all times through the cartwheel. So we practice the good side first and then I'm facing the other direction. And if I go back the other way, same thing again, facing the other direction. Let's get Kalisha to try a few because I have practiced it a fair bit. I'll take the baby. Okay, so she's facing forward. She's going to plant hands on the floor. It's okay, buddy. Watch mum. Good, beautiful. And face the other way. That's all right. Practice makes perfect. Come on, little munchkin. Good, beautiful. Couple more. This is what a beginner looks like, guys. It's not going to look perfect when you first start. Woo! Woo, look at mummy go. Beautiful.
My better side.
That was your better side. She's figuring out what the good side is and what the bad side is. So guys, the keys to remember, visualize that line. When the hands go down onto the ground, you want to be facing the other direction. Don't skip any of the two previous progressions. If you skip the progression where you're learning to stack the hands, you're not going to be very confident when you go to do a full cartwheel because you haven't learnt to lock the shoulders, if that makes sense. Now, how does this apply to a handstand? Two reasons. When we go to do a freestanding handstand and we kick up, chances are you're going to overcompensate. Like I said, you're going to have too much momentum and need to fall over. It's very, very rare that someone can kick up and just go into a perfect handstand without traveling over. It doesn't really happen. There are a few ways that we jump to a handstand. We can do a tuck jump into handstand like that, or we can do a scissor kick, the more standard one, scissor kick jump to handstand, and we can even do a straddle jump to handstand. Oh, I can't do it with these pants, they're going to tear. I think I tore them a little bit. The world's worst handstand trackies. But when we transition, obviously we don't go to a freestanding handstand straight away. We transition to a wall-based handstand. But when you know how to cartwheel, you can actually cartwheel into the wall. Of course, doing our face-to-wall drills, which we'll talk about later, and cartwheel back out again. It makes it so much safer. If you're having to kick up really hard into the wall and you're unable to stack the shoulders, you're going to continue reinforcing the wrong logic to your brain. Remember I said we're working on intramuscular coordination, intermuscular coordination. We're working on muscle sequencing, antagonist switch off, the programming in the brain. All these things are occurring to develop this new skill. If you're constantly reinforcing a really bad kick up where you're unable to stack the shoulders, when you're not able to stack up and just kick nicely into that handstand position, even then I took too much momentum up, which is why I had to step forward. That's the hard part about doing a straight line handstand. And it all starts with having the confidence to be able to invert the shoulders properly, stack the shoulders properly. Let's wrap up in the studio. We've had a really lovely comment here from Barbara. Thank you very much, Barbara. That means a lot to us. She's saying that she's just downloaded our 18-minute stretching routine and the free 6-week online coaching trial. Congratulations. We're not going to be doing that free 6-week trial for much longer, so you're very, very lucky. Make sure you introduce yourself, Barbara, in the Movement Mastermind. We'll give you access to that Facebook group soon. It's a private group reserved just for our inner tribe, our inner circle. And it's a really, really great resource. You'll have so much support and help there. It's an amazing tribe of people from all over the world working together on our programs. And we've got lots of other admin and coaches in there to help support you as well. So make sure you introduce yourself there, and I'll jump on. I can't wait to meet you on the inside. Thanks, Pharaoh. Good training this morning too, brother. He's actually a member of our gym. Guys, there's no other questions. The wrap up here really is just the importance of learning the cartwheel if you really do want to practice handstand skills. You don't have to be like perfect at the cartwheel, you know. What Kalisha was demonstrating out there is absolutely fine, and I really actually wish I had have got you to do a couple of attempts into a freestanding handstand to show people what it looks like when you fall out, you know. Yeah. Because Kalisha's gotten to a point now where she no longer practices the cartwheel. All you have to do is achieve a base level of skill in the cartwheel.
You just have to be able to kind of catch yourself and end up on your feet.
That's right.
Because if you go up to a handstand and you're overcompensating and kicking too far, Well, if you don't know how to cartwheel out of it safely, then what's the alternative? You end up flat on your back.
Yep.
Or you end up scorpioning.
Yeah, scorpion. You end up like a scorpion, which is where you basically fold your body over and can really hurt your neck or spine or anything else. And if all of that doesn't occur, what usually happens is that you just have a fear of proper inversion. And so you end up not doing it properly. And I see people transition to the wall way too quick before they've mastered that cartwheel. And they're just forever banging against the wall. We've had to ban people from using the wall here where I was demonstrating it because there's holes in the wall from people banging against the wall too hard, you know. And in reality, when you use a wall, I'm just trying to see if there's anything in here that I could demonstrate. I can't really. I'll demonstrate it tomorrow. You should not hear me touch the wall. If you can hear me touch the wall, it's because I'm fatigued and I'm getting sloppy. A sloppy handstand, you'll hear it against the wall. A good handstand, someone who's earned the right to be on the wall, you won't hear them on the wall. They'll just go up, neutral, and then just touch to make sure that they're perfectly vertical, and then they use the wall minimally as a guide, but that's it, you know. So you've got to do the groundwork first. We spoke about this yesterday in the core conditioning. These early elements are super important. It's like strength training and you know, wanting to get a good bench press and first strengthening your rotator cuff and using dumbbells to get the anatomical structural balance right, all of those things. You've got to do the foundations first. Tomorrow we're going to start showing you some of the progressions against the wall, how we get up against the wall. We're going to do a really intense core exercise that almost anyone can do, and this is like the gateway to starting to do drills on the wall. I'm talking about the handstand wall run. It's tough. I hope Kalisha's ready for it. Anyway, join us tomorrow. We're going to have a play on the wall. Take care. We are the gym that teaches people how to move instead of just exercise because we believe that health is about performance, not just body image.